Howdy, cornholes. It's me, Corncob. So, TwitchCon is coming up. It's just around the corner. As a veteran attendee, I have some tips, advice, and info for all of my disabled and accommodations requiring baddies so that you can stay safe, supported, and successful at TwitchCon. For some context, I'm disabled. Wow, who would have thought? I have Ehlers-Danlos and POTS, both which affect my mobility, especially my ability to walk or stand for long periods of time, walk far distances, my tolerance for heat, as well as I'm very susceptible to easily injuring myself because I have a connective tissue disorder that affects everything in my body. I've attended TwitchCon twice, once in 2022, which was in San Diego, and once last year in 2023, which was in Vegas. And let me tell you, they were very different experiences, accessibility-wise. So hopefully this video will help break down all the info that we currently know about TwitchCon 2024 in San Diego, plus my experiences in the past 2 years, so that you don't have to show up to this convention afraid and scared and confused like I was when I first showed up. So how do you request accommodations for TwitchCon? Well, the key to accessibility at TwitchCon is your badge. Everyone at TwitchCon receives a badge, whether they're a streamer or a community member, and the different colors and symbols show what you have access to. So this is my badge from Vegas last year, and you'll see that little blue dot right there. That's the accessibility marker. Yay! So you can request accommodations for pretty much any condition that will impact you in a large convention setting, whether it's a physical disability, an invisible illness, or a chronic illness, or even some neurodivergent or mental health conditions. To get this marker on your badge, you must email accessibilitysupport@twitchcon.com. Let them know your accommodation requests, accessibility needs, and any heads up that you might need to give them, such as if you're bringing a medical bag with supplies that would typically be turned away at the door. They should send you a form to fill out to officially document you as someone who is getting an accessibility marker on their badge, but I had to reach out to have them send me the form because I didn't know the form existed. I swear when I purchased my ticket, it said something about if I needed accessibility and that they would reach out, but maybe I'm the one confused because I bought my tickets so long ago. Either way, they did say they have a deadline for accommodations requests of September 1st, which has passed, but in my experience, they don't even print the actual badges until you get to the actual badge pickup if you're requesting things like a wheelchair or other services such as that. But if you're just notifying them of stuff you're bringing in or that you need a badge, you don't need any other assistance, they should be able to accommodate you fairly quickly. This is also where you can provide your accessibility companions info. You will need their name, their Twitch username, and their confirmation number for their ticket, but that should guarantee that they can get through all the places accompanying you at accessible entrances. Some types of accommodations offered are separate accessible entrances to the convention center as well as events within the convention center, wheelchair and scooter rental, sensory-friendly rooms, sign language interpretation, digital captions and translated captions, and roaming medical and first aid teams. Something not offered is a mask requirement. Super disappointing considering we're in a major COVID surge and we'll be at a giant convention. I will go into all of these, don't worry. And I'll also link different resources down below, like maps to the convention center, past maps from TwitchCon when I was at the San Diego Convention Center, also a giant Google Doc where I put together also all this information so you can access it easily, as well as links to the different stuff on the TwitchCon San Diego page, including the safety and accessibility section. Before we get into any of the nitty-gritty, there are 3 important things that you need to know about accessibility and being disabled at TwitchCon. The first is the location. It's always helpful to know about the space that you're going into so you know what kind of accommodations you need. Duh. And TwitchCon is back at the San Diego Convention Center this year. Yes, the same place that hosts the world famous San Diego Comic-Con. It's huge, it's crowded, there's long lines, it's overstimulating, and it's San Diego, so it's hot outside. Second, like I mentioned, there is no mask requirement to attend TwitchCon. From my experience the last 2 years, people don't take COVID precautions at TwitchCon. The majority of them. Nope, unfortunately. Don't count on there being masks available for you to use. Don't count on people around you wearing masks. Do what you need to do to keep yourself and your friends safe first and foremost. Doesn't matter if no one else is doing it. Do what you gotta do. Luckily, once you enter the main convention center doors, there are little outdoor spaces you can access, like balconies on the second floor, as well as a little strip between where they had Artist Alley in the main building last year. somewhere where you can go outside if you need fresh air or if you need a safe place to meet up with your new friends or your old friends. We love COVID conscious friends. Third, you are only allowed to bring a small bag. I think it's 12 by 12 by 6, which doesn't make any sense to me. So I'll break it down. It's a large tote bag. If you need a medical bag, include that in your email to the accessibility team and let them know. When you get to the convention, they'll inspect it separately as well as tag it as a medical bag, I think. And keep in mind, they have some pretty strict rules according to the TwitchCon website for meds. It has to be matching your government ID. It has to be in its original container or packaging, and it has to not be an expired prescription. Here's what I recommend for preparing to go to TwitchCon. First tip, over prepare. I always recommend, if you're disabled especially, to over prepare for any outing, as if you're going on a long full day outing where you will not be back and any sort of bad thing could happen to you. There will be lots of times also where you are rushing, so you might need to recover from that, as well as times that you're sitting down and waiting, whether in long lines or in between sessions, and you might need fun things to do. For me, this means bringing my water bottle, my foldable cane, a portable fan, whether electric or handheld, my electrolyte tablets, multiple masks for myself and those around me, hand sanitizer, obviously, my Apple Watch or my pulse ox so I can know my heart rate, and any medication that I might need, like my anxiety medication. Other good things to bring, little disability info cards, such as if you have Tourette's or autism, fidget toys, always good, especially when you're waiting. Medical bracelets that show all of your info in case of an emergency. Tablets for communication, chargers, little snacks, headphones to drown out the noise, all that good stuff. Also, on the COVID front, over prepare to bring maybe double, triple the masks you might need for any given length of time that you'll be at TwitchCon, so that you can have some for yourself, your friends, if you need to switch them out every few hours. Also, be sure to bring enough COVID tests to test every day. I guarantee someone will come to TwitchCon with COVID, and you'll want to know first if you have it or not, and not wait until after you've infected a bunch of people. Second tip, inform your friends. If you're attending the convention or meeting up with different friends, let them know all the essential info they need to know about your disability and how to help you, both for emergencies and just to help you navigate the convention better. If you go nonverbal, if your brain shuts down when you're in pain like mine does, if you have boundaries with your mobility aids, such as not wanting to be pushed, you have specific preferences for how people help handle your medical episodes, like don't call an ambulance, this is normal. Or even if you're just really bad at asking for help and advocating for yourself in the heat of the moment, also like me, tell your friends so that they can help prepare and best support you throughout the whole convention. I also write this down in the notes app of my phone just so that we can access it anytime, or if my brain stops working, I can still communicate effectively with my buddies. For me, what I like to tell my friends is what to do if I pass out from POTS, what and where my medications are in my bag and when I might need them. Very important, how I act or look when my body's going into panic mode from a panic attack, or when I'm in severe pain and my brain is shutting down. And also what is helpful from them when I'm using my mobility aid, which is mostly just let me know if you're going to walk away from me, because in the scooter I'm very short and I can't see, so then I lose you. Third tip is these policies are only for the convention center. Both years I was able to bring a water bottle into the convention center and have the refill stations, which was great. But different events that aren't in that main building, such as the TwitchCon party or the partner party or any after hours things from different brands, companies, or groups, they might have different restrictions. 2022 in San Diego at the TwitchCon party, when I was told I literally couldn't bring a water bottle through despite needing it for medical reasons. I recommend making time to drop things off at your lodging before going to any like external events outside of the convention center, just to be safe. You don't want to be throwing away your Stanley or Nalgene at the door, or waste the $100+ you paid for the party that they won't let you into because you have a water bottle. Getting to and into the convention. The accessible entrance is located at entry B. Luckily, the passenger drop-off for ride shares and other vehicles is a 0.2 mile walk maximum, about 4 minutes, but do keep that in mind if you have limited mobility. And your first time going in the accessible entrance, just mention that you're picking up your badge, and it will lead right to the accessible badge pickup and all of that good stuff. Only one additional person is allowed in the accessible entrance with you at any given time if they don't have the accessibility marker on their badge, and I am not sure if they will check it against the person you put in your accessibility form if you listed that you have an accessibility companion. So if you have a group of 4, 2 of them will have to go through the main entrance. Hopefully the line isn't long, and 2 of you can go through the accessible entrance. I have had a little bit of luck getting in with 2 accessible companions, but it really just depends who's at the door. If I remember correctly, they do make you go through a metal detector or wand you down. So if you have metal in your body, you know what to do. Ask for a pat down. They will also check your bags, including your medical bags, which they'll tag, and you will be in. Bam. If you need to pick up a wheelchair or a scooter, you can find that right outside the main building, right outside entry A, which luckily is also on the way from the passenger drop-off and the accessible entrance. You can obviously bring your own mobility aids or mobility devices. They just might be subject to more thorough inspection since they don't know what is in there. It's kind of like TSA. They always get nosy and have to look. You can also rent either a manual wheelchair, which is the typical Drive brand wheelchair that you can push yourself or have someone push you in, or an electric mobility scooter. This is a seated little scooter like you see at the grocery stores, except with a much smaller basket. They do give you a key to turn it off and on in case you need to park it. There's a speed dial, a dinky little sad little beep horn, and push-pull triggers. Don't get them mixed up like I did and slowly crash into a table while everyone in the room watches you. Oops. You'll also need to sign a release saying they're not liable for you injuring people or yourself, as well as provide a government-issued ID, photo ID, so that they can write down your name, check you out, and have that documented. And you will have to bring the scooter back by a certain time. This has changed in both of the years that I've attended. One time it was super early at 4:30, which was before many of the events even ended. So I had to sprint there, drop off my scooter, and then hobble my way back to an event. But I think in Vegas last year, they extended a little bit so it wasn't as bad. Editing Corncob here, covering my hair because it's nasty, with a little bit of more information. So I called the company and made my reservation. If you reserve a scooter for the entire length of the convention, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you have the option to take it home with you or like outside of the convention after the accessibility booth closes. But I don't know if you get the charger, and I don't think you can return it later if they've already closed. Like, you have to take it home with you. So keep that in mind. Also, the people who work at the company are very, very, very nice. Be sure to ask them, set an alarm, because the convention center is big, so you may need anywhere from like 15 to 20 minutes just to make it back to where the scooter rental is. If you want to be extra sure, TwitchCon highly recommends emailing or calling the company providing the scooters if you need to secure a reservation and guarantee that you will get a scooter. Their name is Mobility Source. I'll put their email and their phone number in the description down below. This will guarantee, hopefully, that you get a scooter, and they will bring more than they need, so there will be extras, and those are all first come, first serve basis. Speaking of mobility aids, I'm actually very mad. 2024 TwitchCon, you have to pay for the mobility device you want to rent yet again. Scooters are $65 a day, or $145 for all 3 days of the convention, and manual wheelchairs are $35 a day, or $72 for the whole event. And not gonna lie, I'm pretty mad. In San Diego in 2022, the same place it's being held this year, scooters were first come, first serve, they were free, and you didn't need a reservation. But in 2023, in Vegas, they started charging $65 a day to get a scooter. I was told that they charged in Vegas but not in San Diego because different companies operate differently based on their agreement with TwitchCon. But clearly it's more of like what TwitchCon wanted to pay, and it sounded like they didn't want to pay for us to have free access to mobility aids that we need to get around the convention center. Because it's back in San Diego, why am I paying? This is not accessibility, especially since they've shown us that they can do it where we have access to scooters for free before in this same location. Yeah, I'm actually really fucking pissed. And I don't care if you think I sound entitled. What if someone can't fucking afford that? If you're me, you already paid for flights, overpriced hotels because there's a giant event happening, extra PPE because there are no COVID restrictions or precautions, and bought a $300+ ticket just to attend the event. And if I can't afford a mobility scooter, what am I supposed to do? Sit there inside the convention center do nothing, wait around, unable to actually enjoy the event. Not providing free mobility aids, especially for a convention where people are traveling to and you know people are traveling there specifically for this convention. That's creating so many barriers for disabled people. If I hadn't found out that scooters were free in 2022, I would have never used one. I would have been in pain the entire convention, suffering, unable to do anything, and probably spent the last 2 days of the convention laying in bed in my hotel room because I couldn't walk. We already pay so much just to exist, just to survive, just to operate normally in a world that is not designed for disabled people and doesn't seem to care about us. But I can make a whole video on this. Anyways, at least this time the scooter pickup isn't far as fuck from the main entrance and also a 5-minute walk into a sweltering hot parking lot in the Nevada heat just to get there and be told that I need a reservation. Navigating the convention. The venue is wheelchair and I assume ADA accessible. They have elevators throughout the whole building, although sometimes in very inconvenient places that require you to exit the main expo hall. There are also accessible bathrooms on every floor. I cannot understate the sheer size of this convention center. 2.6 million square feet. The busiest places are the main expo hall, Artist Alley, the meet and greet line, and the lines where people queue up outside some of the main theaters like Glitch Theater. All of the larger events in the theaters will have a separate accessible entrance for people with mobility devices or for people who can't wait in lines for extended periods of time for whatever reason. As long as you have that accessibility badge marker, you are able to use that entrance. And yes, the staff will check because for some reason, non-disabled people like to think that those of us with invisible illnesses are just making it up so we can skip the line. False. If you have a scooter and you use the accessible entrance, they will probably have you pull into a designated spot that they've cleared for you to park scooters, and they'll want you to sit in the scooter during the event. But I was able to ask if I could like park it there, take the key, and then sit with my friends who also use the accessible entrance, but were able to just walk in because they didn't have a physical related disability. Again, it just depends who's there. If you get overstimulated, have sensory issues, have anxiety, or just need a quiet place to decompress, TwitchCon has these things called AFK rooms, which are their quiet rooms. They have low light, there's no streaming allowed, it's a quiet area, and there's seating for you to hang out, chill, recenter, regroup, calm down, and get away from the chaos of the rest of the convention. They're located in Hall D on level 1 near the tabletop area, on level 2, room 21, and room 1B. I also don't know how busy these places actually get and how much seating gets taken up. So I also recommend you kind of just do a full loop around the convention center and scope out any place that looks comfortable and quiet and safe and cozy for you as like the emergency meetup spot or the place that your friends know you will go if you need to calm down for a second and just chill. If you are deaf or hard of hearing, on the second floor is where they offer the content sessions, which are more geared towards streamers, like moderation and community and brand deals and all these things that people can learn from. Those rooms, the content session rooms on the second floor, will have digitally provided captions. You will be able to take your phone and scan the QR code and then see the digital captions on your screen. They are provided by Wordly, and they are also able to be translated into multiple languages. I think only the main stage or the large theaters will have sign language interpreters available for those sessions, but the TwitchCon website says there are standby interpreters available as needed. So if you feel that you need an interpreter for one of the sessions or events that you're going to, or in navigating the expo floor, go to the info desk, reach out, and see if someone is able to accompany you. There is one info booth on the first level, and there are 2 on the second level, which I will put in the big giant document of things that I'm collecting for people to refer to. Yeah, there you go. Sadly, there is very, very little other than this info shared on the TwitchCon website about accommodations for people who are deaf or hard of hearing. And I saw nothing on there about accommodations for people who have low vision or who are blind. All right. Now we get into the good part. Let's talk about tips that I have based on my 2 years of attending TwitchCon. The first one, I'm not gonna lie, I have been gatekeeping it a little bit. If you have an invisible illness, particularly one that affects you physically, and you don't do well in advocating for yourself, I recommend purchasing a beautiful, lovely, life-changing foldable cane. even if you don't need it. This is a visual symbol to the staff that you are someone who might have accessibility needs or need additional accommodations, or someone that they should go specifically out of their way to help if they don't see them receiving the care that they need. And frankly, it leads to significantly less interrogation from people who don't seem to understand that invisible illnesses exist. The best part about it is that it folds up, it fits in your bag, you can secure it, it easily fits in a tote bag for when you don't need it, or use it if you do. Practice with it if you have mobility issues and you want to use it. Since I don't need my cane all the time, there are some times when I'm faster walking without it, so I'll fold it up and put it away, and sometimes that I need it and then I'll pull it out at those moments. I did this all the time when I lived in New York and I had to take the train to work, especially when it was really crowded in the mornings. If I was in too much pain or I was too anxious that I would accidentally ask the one other person on the train with an invisible illness to give me their seat, people saw my cane and tended to more so offer me a seat if they felt and were able to stand. It works very well and it is life-changing. Just don't abuse it, please. Tip number 2, if you've never used a wheelchair or scooter, don't be afraid to try one out, although it does suck that you have to pay. If you go around the first day and you're getting to know the layout and you find walking around the convention is too difficult, or you need to take lots of breaks, or you find yourself in a bunch of pain, don't be afraid to go up and be like, hey, can I rent a scooter for the day and just try it out and see what it's like. That is how I first used a scooter in 2022. I had never used one before and I tried it and it changed my life. If you have never driven one, you can always take it to a little secluded area if you need to practice turning, backing up, figuring out the speed, all of that stuff. Or the staff at the wheelchair and scooter rental will be more than happy to show you how it works and let you do a little test drive. And since I only need to use a mobility aid for going longer distances or longer periods of time, it was very convenient for me in smaller rooms, like for the sessions, to just pull it into the back, park it, take the key, and then go sit at a table with my friends or sit in the seats with my friends. Just be careful what you leave in the basket, because it is going to be around strangers and you're not going to be paying attention. Utilize your friends. The real ones will help you out. Let's say you need an electric scooter and you can't use a manual wheelchair like me for very long, or you'll dislocate all the joints in your hand. But there's only manual wheelchairs left. Well, this is when you can ask for your friends' help. You can push yourself for a bit and then have them switch off pushing you if they'll help with that, just to make sure that you can all get around the convention center. I found friends are always very down to help. Even when you, the disabled person, might think it's a burden to ask, it's worth asking anyway. It was also super helpful because when I was seated in a scooter, I was so short around all the other people and people would constantly jump in front of me and literally almost get themselves ran over, which was their fault, including Hassan Piker. Sorry, not sorry. But having my friends walk in front of my scooter or on the sides of my scooter so that we kind of automatically cleared a path tended to be very helpful, especially for the expo floor. It doesn't hurt to ask. The last piece of advice, I should say, is don't assume TwitchCon will take care of you. Ask the questions you need to ask, make sure you get the answers you need, and make sure you have your bases covered. And most importantly, make sure you document any bad experiences you have when it comes to accommodations or accessibility. They don't make it easy to be disabled, nor get the accommodations that you need. How was I supposed to know there was that form unless I had emailed them? And actually, I'm kind of mad because I had to re-record this entire video because the day after I filmed the first time, Twitch finally put out all of this safety and accessibility information on the TwitchCon website 2.5 weeks before the actual event. As always, you will have to advocate for yourself and you will have to advocate extra hard if you have non-physical or invisible illnesses. TwitchCon staff nor attendees have a great track record of respecting people with disabilities. In 2022, there was a whole thread on Twitter, which I'll link to below, about staff making ableist remarks and convention goers pretty much trampling people in wheelchairs to fight their way to the front of events. Hopefully this year, at least the staff has more training and preparation and it can be an easier space for us. There is so much more I could say about TwitchCon and being disabled and navigating the event and my experiences, but I tried to get all the essentials that I could in this little video. If you see me at the convention, hopefully in a scooter, come say hi. I would love to meet you all and know how your con is going and know about how your accommodations are going. Also, subtle plug, I am in the Disabled Content Creator Collective, or DC3, started by the lovely Chi-Chi. And I know a few of us will also be around the convention. We take this shit seriously. If you have good experiences, if you have bad experiences, if you don't know what to do, if you need help, all of that, come find us, come hang out with us, come say hi, wear your mask please, and we will help fight for you to make sure that everyone gets access to the thing they paid for in a safe and enjoyable manner. With that being said, thank you. I hope this was helpful. Check the description for all the resources and links I will be leaving. And to my freaks, friends, and foes, I will see you around. Until next time.